So here we'll be starting with the Act 1, Scene 3, and the scene is set up in Venice at a public place. Before starting with the Act 1, Scene 3, let us see what we have discussed in the Scene 2. As we all know, the Scene 2 was set up in Belmont, where Portia resides. And we saw Portia expressing her feelings to her mate and confident Nerissa about her father's will, by which her suitors must choose one of the three caskets in order to win her. She also revealed her disappointment and distress at some of the suitors who have already come and failed in the lottery of the caskets. And here in Act 1, Scene 3, from Belmont and courtship, the scene again shifts to Venice. It is going to showcase the harsh realities of its marketplace. Also, we are introduced to Shylock, the central character of the play. We'll see that the prime cause of the conflict in the play is the business of money lending. This is the only reason that there is conflict between Antonio and Shylock. So, what happens here? For the sake of Bassanio, who is a close or a very good friend of Antonio, right? For the sake of Bassanio, Antonio is forced to borrow money from Shylock, his sworn enemy, and on whom he has inflicted insults in the past. As we saw that at the Rialto, that is the Venetian Stock Exchange, Antonio used to insult Shylock in front of other moneylenders or business partners. So Shylock takes the opportunity to take revenge and makes him sign an unusual bond, which we are going to call as flesh bond, right? According to which, if Antonio fails to repay the debt in time, Shylock would be entitled to take a pound of his flesh. Clear? So now moving towards the dialogues of the scene, we could see that Bassanio and Shylock enters into the scene over here. Shylock, 3,000 ducats well. Bassanio, sir, for 3 months. Shylock, for 3 months, well. So we could see that the scene opens with the conversation between Shylock and Bassanio. And we could see that Bassanio is asking for money from Shylock as per the opinion of or the advice given by the Antonio. So what Shylock says, Shylock, 3,000 ducats. He's asking that you want 3,000 ducats. Okay, well. So he's thinking over here. He's pondering over the deal. Bassanio says, sir. A means yes, sir. Yes, I need 3,000 ducats and for the time period of 3 months. Again, Shylock ponders over it. So next, Bassanio, for the which, as I told you, Antonio shall be bound. So here Bassanio makes it clear to Shylock that Antonio is going to be bound to pay the lent amount, right? Or the amount which he is going to borrow from Shylock. That is going to be paid by Antonio to him, and the time period is going to be within 3 months. Shylock, Antonio shall become bound well. Okay, so Antonio is going to be the surety, right? Well, so by the word well, what we come to know is that he is pondering over the situations. Bassanio, may you stead me. Stead means help me. Can you help me? Right? Can you help me with the money? Can you help me by providing the money? Will you pleasure me? Will you do me this a favor? Right? Shall I know your answer? So Bassanio is asking for a reply from Shylock over here. Shylock, 3,000 ducats for 3 months and Antonio bound. So once again, he is thinking, right, about the whole matter, whether he should pay or not. Bassanio, your answer to that. So Bassanio is still waiting for the answer, for the reply to his request. Shylock, Antonio is a good man. Good means reliable man, right? To whom he could easily trust. Bassanio, have you heard any imputation to the contrary? Bassanio, have you ever heard any imputation to the contrary? So here, Bassanio questions the Shylock that whether ever he had heard any sort of allegations against Antonio, right? Imputation means allegation that he is not a good man. So, whether he had ever heard such kind of allegations against Antonio. Shylock, oh, no, 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 no. My meaning in saying he is a good man is to have you understand me that he is sufficient. So Shylock says that no, I am not having any sort of doubt regarding him. Rather, I am saying that he is sufficient for me as a surety, or he is enough as a security. Yet his means are in supposition. Supposition means doubt. Means resources. So here his resources are his ships, the ships which are sailing into the sea, or which are a source of business for Antonio. So Shylock says that his resources are in supposition, means they are at risk. He hath an argosy bound to Tripolis, another to Indies, I understand, moreover, upon the Rialto. He hath a third at Mexico, a fourth for England, and other ventures he hath squandered abroad. So here Shylock is talking about various ships of Antonio which are set or which had been sent to various places. So one of the Argosy means the ship has gone to Tripolis, the second is at Indies, third one is at Mexico, and the fourth is set to England, right? So in such manner, the other ships, other ventures means the other ships carrying goods squandered abroad. Squandered means scattered in various foreign nations. So how he is going to pay back the debt taken by the Bassanio? Basically, this is the question of Shylock over here. But ships are but boats, sailors but men. There be land rats and water rats, water thieves and land thieves, I mean pirates. And then there is the peril of waters, winds, and rocks. The man is, notwithstanding, sufficient. 3,000 ducats, I think I may take his bond. So, this is how Shylock convinced to make a bond, or to accept, to sign a bond with him and accept Antonio as a security. So basically what he reveals over here, or what he is talking over here, is that ships are just boats or wooden boats, right? And sailors but men. जो sailors हैं वो क्या हैं? They are simply the mortal men, right? So just as there are rats on the land, similarly there are water rats, and by the word water rats he means the land robbers or the sea robbers, that is the pirates. So he is talking about various dangers which the ships may face in the water. Peril means danger, right? So, these are the various dangers faced by this ship over there. Bassanio, be assured you may be satisfied, right? So, Bassanio is trying to satisfy him. Shylock, I will be assured I may, and that I may be assured I will bethink me. May I speak with Antonio? So he said that yes, I would like to be assured, and in order to do that, what he wants to do? He wants to have a conversation with Antonio. So here he questions Bassanio that may I have a conversation with Antonio? Bassanio says yes, if it pleases you, right? You can come and join us for the food or dine with us. But here, see what Shylock says, he refuses to have food with them, right? Or to sit and dine with them. Shylock, yes, to smell pork, to eat of the habitation which your prophet the Nazarite conjured the devil into. I will buy with you, sell with you, talk with you, walk with you, and so following, but I'll not eat with you, drink with you, or pray with you. So again, this is one of the important stanza over here. What he says that he refuses to have food with them. He said that I do not want to sit and eat with you, right? I don't want to smell the pork. Pork is flesh of a pig, right? So what he says that I don't want to sit and have food with you. The reason for this he gives is that Jesus of Nazareth had put the devil into them, right? So next he says that I'm ready to buy and sell. I'm ready, it means I'm ready to do business with you, right? I'm ready to have a conversation with you. I'm ready to walk with you and do many other things with you, but I'll not eat and drink with you or pray with you, right? So then next, what news on the Rialto? Who is he comes there? So next he asks that what news is there at the Venetian Stock Exchange, right? Then there the Antonio enters. Over here Antonio enters, then Bassanio. This is Signor Antonio. Signor means Lord, right? Or it means Mr. As we use Mr, similarly they use Signor. Shylock, how like a fawning publican he looks. Fawning means servile. Or fawning publican means a flattering tax collector, right? He looks. So see how he looks like a tax collector who knows how to flatter people. I hate him for he is a Christian, but more for that in low simplicity. So he hates, Shylock give the reason that why he hates Antonio. One, I hate him because he is a Christian, but I hate him more because of his low simplicity, means childish foolishness. He lends out money, and what is that childish foolishness? Right? He lends out money, grudges, and brings down the rate of ascents here with us in Venice. What he does, what Antonio does, what is the foolishness of Antonio? That he lends money at low rate of interest or at zero interest, right? And in this way he brings down the rate of interest for all other money lenders in Venice, and which is creating a hindrance in the business of Shylock, or which is giving loss to Shylock. So this is the biggest reason that Shylock hates Antonio. This is what he tells over here. If I can catch him once upon the hip, I will feed fat the ancient grudge. I bear him. He hates our sacred nation, and he rails, even there where merchants most do congregate, on me, my bargains, and my well-worn thrift, which he calls in trust. Cursed be my tribe, if I forgive him. So Shylock is very angry with Antonio, right? All these lines of Shylock tells us that how forcingly he wants to take revenge from Antonio, and this is how, when Bassanio came to him to ask for the loan, this is how he gets a chance to feed his revenge. So what he says, if I can catch him once upon the hip, if I am able to catch him, then I will fulfill all my ancient means old grudges against him. Right? I bear him. So why basically he wants to fulfill his grudges, but what reason he provides that he hates, Antonio hates Shylock's race, right? His holy race. He abuses them in front of other merchants. When they get together at Rialto at the Venetian Stock Exchange, he abuses him. He curses his tribe. And this is the reason that he will never forgive, Shylock will never forgive him, right? And in the last line he says, cursed be my tribe if I forgive him. That may my tribe be cursed, right? May ill luck fall upon my race if I forgive Antonio. Then Bassanio, Shylock, do you hear? So he questions him, Shylock, are you listening to me? Right? So this is basically what Bassanio has told him. He was trying to introduce him to Antonio. On the other side, Shylock getting to a side, talking to himself, to his own self, that now I'll fulfill all my old or ancient grudges, right? So then Bassanio asks him that, are you hearing me? Shylock, I am debating of my present store. I am checking my money, that how much cash I have at the present. Present store means. And by the near guess of my memory, I cannot instantly raise up the gross. Gross means the full amount which you require or which you have demanded me. So I cannot immediately raise up the whole amount of full 3000 ducats. What of that? Tubal, a wealthy Hebrew means Jew. So Tubal is another person, his friend, Shylock's friend, who belongs to same tribe as Shylock or the same race as Shylock, that is Jew or Hebrew, will furnish me. Furnish me means will provide money to me, right? And then I'll give that money to you, Bassanio. But soft, but wait a little. For how many months do you desire? For how many months you require the money? Once again he questions, but in front of Antonio. Rest, you fair good Signor, your worship was the last man in our mouths. So, greeting to Antonio, he said, you have just been the subject to our conversation. We were just having the talk in our mouths, means we were just talking about you. So, welcome. Antonio. Shylock, although I neither lend nor borrow, by taking nor by giving of excess, yet to supply the ripe wants of my friend, I'll break a custom. Is he yet possessed? How much ye would. So Shylock says that although I neither lend nor borrow money, right? So, and what he says that neither I love to take another man's spare money nor giving my own to anyone. But here, in contrary to the situation, I am doing this just to meet the needs of my friend Bassanio. Ripe means urgent needs, right? So this is the reason that I am breaking my own custom, my usual practice, right? So I hope that Bassanio has told you that how much money he requires. Shylock. 3,000 ducats. Yes, he has told me that he needs 3,000 ducats, and Antonio further adds to it that for 3 months, for the time period of 3 months. So remember this thing, 3,000 ducats for 3 months. borrowed by Bassanio from Shylock, and what he kept as a surety? Antonio. Just remember these things over here. Next, Shylock. I had forgot. 3 months you told me so. Well, then, you're bond, and let me see, but hear you. Methought you said you neither lend nor borrow upon advantage. So Shylock said, oh, yes, I had forgotten that you told me that you require it for 3 months, right? Well, then your bond, let me see it. Then, if you are a guarantee, then let me see to it, right? Listen to my words. And then he tell them to listen to him, that what he thinks, right? Antonio, I do never use it. Shylock, when Jacob grazed his uncle Laban's ship, this Jacob from our holy Abraham was, as his wise mother wrought his behalf, the third possessor, he was the third. Before explaining this dialogue of Shylock, just mark over here Abraham is the father, Isaac, son of Abraham, and then Jacob, who is the grandson of Abraham. So usually question comes, who is Jacob? So son of Isaac, Isaac, and grandson of Abraham, right? So the spelling of Isaac is Issac. So Jacob is the son of Isaac, right? And he is the grandson of Abraham. Right? Abraham. I hope this much is clear. So, next. So, what Shylock says, when Jacob grazed his uncle Laban's ship. So, here basically he is giving us the description of Jacob. What he says, that when our prophet Jacob descended our holy Abraham and grazed his uncle Laban's ship, at that moment his clever mother planned on his behalf so that he became the third successor to the family property. And yes, of course, he was the third one, right? The reason for this is Jacob is younger than his brother Esau. He has a brother Esau and he is younger to it. So, in this way, he was automatically the third inheritor of the property. And I would also suggest you people that while reading the text, you should also go through the notes which are given at the end of your Merchant of Venice. Most of the things would be cleared from over there, right? Like these general words or the meanings, these would be cleared over there, so you must go through that. So once again I would like to tell, who is Abraham? Abraham was the founder of the Jewish race. Isaac was his son. Jacob was the grandson of Abraham. So just remember this, right? Abraham was the founder of the Jewish race. Isaac was his son, and Jacob was the grandson of Abraham, right? And this last line, the third processor, he was the third. What I explained, that Jacob was the third in the line of heirs to his family property. Why? Because the first one was Abraham, the second was Isaac, then Jacob should not have been the heir since he was younger than his brother Esau. Right? He was younger than his brother Esau. Esau. And on the other side, Jacob's mother played a trick to have Jacob mate Isaac's hair, ताकि वो जैकब को इसैक्स का जो है प्रॉपर्टी का मालिक बना सकती. इसके लिए द मदर प्लेड अ और had a trick, right? Next, Antonio. And what of him did he take interest? So Antonio says, what about him? Did he take any interest? Did he charge anything? Shylock, no, not take interest, not as you would say, directly interest. Mark what Jacob did. So he said, no, he did not take any sort of interest, as you say, that directly, the way you charge the interest, the direct interest from people. So he did not take that direct interest, but yes, when Laban and himself were compromised, that all the inlings होते हैं the newborn of the lambs, lambs, which was streaked and pied. Streaked means which have strips, and pied means spotted, should fall as Jacob's hair. This was a way to thrive, and he was blessed. And thrift is blessing if men steal it not. So what they did, they had an agreement, right? So indirectly, Shylock is talking about an agreement which he is going to sign with Antonio. So basically, Shylock is saying, no, he did not charge any direct interest. Jacob did not charge any direct interest. So similarly, he is not going to charge any direct interest or monetary interest upon the lent amount from Antonio. Rather, he is going to sign a flesh bond with Antonio, which he is going to reveal in the next few dialogues and not now. So what he said, look into the next second line, that when Laban and himself were compromised, so then what happened? They had an agreement. Jacob and Laban had an agreement. And what was the agreement? He had agreed that all the newborn lambs, those were stripped or spotted, should go to Jacob's share, right? And the other rest will go to the Laban's share. So that was the way to prosper his business, to become rich, right? And he was rewarded in doing so. He was blessed in doing so. And all the thrift, all profit, all gain is a blessing to him, right? And when it is going to be a blessing to him, if in case man do not steal from the other, or if men do not steal it from the others, then only all the profit is going to be the blessing. Next, Antonio. This was a venture, sir, that Jacob served for. So this was the business deal for which Jacob worked, right? A thing not in his power to bring to pass. So it was not in his power to make it happen, but it was a business deal, right? But swayed and fashioned by the hand of heaven. And all this thing, that how many lambs, newborns are going to be stripped or spotted, right? कितने जो न्यूबॉर्न लैम्स हैं वो स्ट्रिप्ड और स्पॉटेड होंगे, एंड दोज आर गोइंग टू बी इन द शेयर ऑफ जैकब. दैट वाज नॉट इन हिज हैंड, rather it was in the hand of a god. It was the will of a god, right? Was this inserted to make interest good, or is your gold and silver ewes and rams? So was this mentioned in order to justify the charging of interest? So whatever you are telling me, was this mentioned, or do you consider your gold and silver, the money, the gold and silver which you have, as ewes and rams, as the female sheeps or the male sheeps. Ewes means female sheeps, rams means male sheep, right? Which is going to multiply because they are going to reproduce, they are going to multiply. But is your money going to multiply, right? So is it justified to mention it over here to talk about the interest? Shylock, I cannot tell. I make it breed at as fast, but not me, Signor. I cannot tell you that. I make my money increase as fast as ewes and rams. But listen to me, sir, it's not your business, right? I cannot tell it to you. Antonio, mark you this, Bassanio. The devil can cite scripture for his purpose. So Antonio says to Bassanio, listen to it, Bassanio. The devil, here the word devil refers to Shylock, can cite, can quote holy books just to justify his purpose, as Shylock is doing over here by giving the reference of Jacob, right? An evil soul producing holy witnesses. See, this evil minded person is producing holy arguments in front of us just to fulfill his motive. Is like a villain with a smiling with a smiling cheek, a goodly apple rotten at the heart. Oh, what a goodly outside falsehood hath. So what he says, see, it is like an apple which looks attractive from outside but rotten from inside. So, see, this evil man, this villain with a smiling face, is similar to a rotten apple which looks attractive from outside but rotten from inside. Oh, what a goodly outside falsehood had. Oh, see what an external. Goodly means good, attractive external appearance he is having. Shylock, 3,000 ducats. It's a good round sum. 3 months from 12. Then let me see the rate. Rate means then let me decide the rate of interest, because you are demanding a large amount of money. Antonio, well, Shylock, shall we be beholding to you? So, well, Shylock, are you going to lend us money or not? You just reply to this.